6 p.m. I will call the City of Allegan City Council meeting for Monday, January 26th to order. Could I please get roll call?
Councilmember Clark.
Present.
Councilmember Westover.
Present.
Councilmember Walker.
Here.
Councilmember Canales. Councilmember Hooker.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hands. Mayor Perigo.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, thank you.
It took me a second.
Motion to excuse Councilmember Hands and Councilmember Canals.
All right, thank you. Could I have a support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. If you are able, we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, moving down to agenda item 4A is approval of the regular council meeting agenda for January 26, 2026.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda for January 26, 2026.
Thank you.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next agenda item is 5A, approval of the regular council meeting minutes from January 12th, 2026. If there are no changes to those meeting minutes, can I get a motion to approve as is?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the council meeting.
And support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, we will move down to the next agenda item is 7A, which is the first reading of Ordinance 534 to amend Chapter 11, Article 3 of the City of Allegan Code of Ordinances, entitled Escrow Account Proceeds from Fire Insurance Payments to align the procedures with the Fire Insurance Withholding Program.
Thank you, Mayor. As most of you know, I was out of the office last week for a conference, and so most of the reports were written by other staff, but I'll be handling most of the reports this evening. Tonight's the first reading on Ordinance 534. This ordinance simplifies our fire insurance payments withholding program. So we just mirror what's in the Michigan Compiled Laws 500-2845. In the report, it talks about how, the current ordinance establishes procedures and timelines that differ from those outlined in the state. If I'm not mistaken, the last time we've updated our local ordinance was in 2008 or 6, and the last time the state did it was 2014. So we were already behind what language they already had. So this is just a simplification process. Whenever you have a local ordinance that is rooted in state law, you should just reference the state law and leave it at that instead of trying to duplicate everything it says in the state law. Any questions for staff?
I don't see any.
All right.
All right, and you don't need anything else tonight from us, Joel?
Just a motion to accept the first reading and schedule a public hearing.
For the next meeting?
Yeah, for the next meeting.
Okay.
I will make a motion that we schedule a second reading of Ordinance 534 to amend Chapter 11, Article 3, and accept the first reading.
Thank you.
Supported.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any other questions, discussion from council before we vote? No? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, next agenda item will be agenda item number 9, which is the first public comment section of tonight. If you have a public comment, please approach the podium, state your name, address, and we do limit to 3 minutes, but I don't think we're gonna have a lot of public comment tonight, so.
I'll be brief.
Okay.
Excuse me. My name is Tim Slace. Address is 6346 127th Ave in Fenville. I'm stopping out to introduce myself as a candidate for the 57th District Court Judge in this upcoming election. As you're well aware, our bench got thinner this year, but the governor appointed Chris Burnett to Judge Ballargen's seat. He'll have to defend that seat in either August or November if he has an opponent. I'm running for Judge Scotchless's seat, and as you know, he's age limited out. I've been in law, give or take, for the last 30 years. State police brought my wife and I over here to West Michigan in 1996 to the South Haven Post. I was a trooper there for almost 10 years as a road trooper and actually acting sergeant. Unfortunately, my career came to an abrupt end in 2003 when I got shot in the line of duty patrolling in the city of Benton Harbor during the riots of 2003. So I was retired from the department in 2005. I paid my way back through law school, and upon gaining my law degree, I went back to Berrien County as an assistant prosecutor for about 4.5 years, protecting the people of Berrien County in the state of Michigan. And then in 2015, I opened my own office and have been practicing in Ottawa and Allegan, primarily in criminal defense, estate planning. And I'm also of counsel with a colleague in Kalamazoo, assisting him with research and writing for personal injury cases involving auto crashes. I believe that my qualifications as a police officer, prosecutor, and defense attorney give a unique blend and would add unique qualifications to the bench. I'm a firm believer in our sobriety courts, or our specialty courts, and you would utilize those wherever possible for rehabilitation. However, if there are repeated failures in that, where people aren't getting the message or don't want to get the message, then I believe our court should be formed to protect our citizens. I think I've given you guys all the palm cards there. There's QR codes on the back there that would lead you to my website for more information. And if you're a Facebook person, there's a Facebook account there with some information where you could like or follow. And also, part of the process is for anyone who's not an incumbent, we have to gather at least 600 signatures to get on the ballot. I have that nominated petition for anyone who'd be willing to sign that. I thank you for your time. Thank you.
All right, is there any other public comment for this evening? All right, seeing none, I'll move down to next agenda item is 10A1, is a request to approve various requests from the Allegan County Fair for the 2026 calendar year.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an annual request we received from the fair. We have to approve them to hold their parade on our downtown. We have to approve them to have a various amount of concerts throughout the year. They're asking for 6 concerts from May to September this year, or up to 6,000. And they also are asking for, a variance or leniency on our noise ordinance, which I believe we kind of took care of when we adopted our ordinances last year, that if it's an event at the fairgrounds, they automatically kind of get a pass down there. And then, as you know, if you lived in this community for more than a year, when the fair comes to town, they throw signs up all over town directing people how to get to the fairgrounds. And this also allows them to utilize, our right-of-way for their 4x4 signs that they plaster all over our downtown. Other than that, nothing's different from what they've asked us in years past, and you can see the list of the sign locations in the report that we shared with you. The fair theme this year is Blue Jeans and County Fair Dreams. So that will be fun. Also, their off-season is going really well. They are going to have the Family RV Association back there June 10th, which means you or I will be there to welcome a bunch of RVers to our town, as well as some other things. And they just want to let you know how thankful they are working with Parker on all the projects they have Parker work on. That's all in the report you saw from them. Any questions for staff? And I apologize, Siri usually is here. She emailed this to me last week, and I said, sounds good, and it looks like Carol and staff put it through the agenda, and I didn't let Siri know that it was being presented tonight, or she would be here like she is year after year.
Yeah, staff let her know she was just unable to attend.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, we got you covered, Joel.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the Allegan County Fair 2026 calendar requests?
I will make that motion.
Support.
Okay, so moved and supported. Was there any questions from council? Comments? No. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 10A2 is a review of the Allegan Emergency Services Committee Q4 2025 Operations Summary Report and 2025 Annual Report.
All right, thank you, Council. This is a report that Life EMS shares with my office. What you had in your packet was their full report for Q4 2025, but it also summarizes all the work they did for 2025. So we just felt the need to throw it on the agenda. We knew it was going to be a light agenda this evening. This shows you all the work they do in their EMS area and what they do inside the city limits as it relates to requests that they receive, transports they receive, and treatment on scene or no transport. I would offer, or just remind council, that we contract with them to the rate of about $40,000 a year. So it is a service that the city of Allegan pays for. The Allegan area includes the city of Allegan, Allegan Township, Valley Township, Cheshire Township, and Trowbridge Township. So the surrounding townships are also part of this contract with Life EMS. Any questions?
Yeah, is it possible, I think you offered, Joel, that John could come in and maybe go over this a little bit more? There's some things I don't really understand.
Yeah. Yes, so we're able to request John Pinkster, who I believe his title is CEO or President of Life EMS, Director of South Operations is his title. He told me today that he's willing to come in if council wants to receive a full report from him. He's always willing to be present and, just share the good stuff that they're doing in our community. If that's something council would like to see, and I'm seeing nodding of heads, I can reach out and get that on the schedule.
Yeah.
As I've shared with council before, if one of you says, hey, Joel, do this, I usually say, that sounds great. Get 3 others to say yes, and we'll get it done. So as long as I see shaking of heads, I can have him come in.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
All right,
Thank you.
no problem.
Any other questions, comments on that agenda item? No? Okay, moving down to 11A1 is a review of the January 2026 Downtown Development Authority meeting minutes. And some of the highlights for the DDA, they reviewed the 2026 event schedule, which we had reviewed at our previous council meeting. We reviewed the first draft of the Downtown Allegan Master Plan, and then there was discussion. There's a couple of, well, more than a couple, business owners who have brought to the city's attention the asking for additional parking signs, and I don't know if we ever landed on what they're gonna say, but behind like the alley here in this back parking lot, there's been a lot of like long-term parking kind of overnight, which makes it difficult for removing snow, and then the businesses is just messy for people going to the businesses to use those parking spaces. So there will be some sort of additional signage that will go up that says, I don't know, temporary, not long-term. I don't know what the wording is, but something along that line. Any other questions? No? All right. 11A2 is a review of the January 2026 Public Spaces Commission meeting minutes, and looks like Assistant City Manager Parker Johnson is going to take this one.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No problems. Yep, I'll take this one, and then Councilmember Clark is our new council representative on this board, taking over for Councilmember Canales. So we hope to see him in February, and then he'll kind of take over these
Okay.
recaps. But we talked with the Public Spaces Board about the what we refer to as the scenic overlook of the Kalamazoo River off the Water Street Boardwalk. That's the area in between Smiles and Schaendorf Brewing Company. The Water Street Boardwalk gazebo is right there, and then there's a little overlook that has been steadily sliding toward the river over the last few years. We had an assessment done by Abernmarsh in 2022. Is that correct, Joel? Yeah, and it's just continued to slide toward the river, and recently there was an injury that caused city staff to make the decision to block that off from public access, and we'll be removing that overlook when the time comes this year, and then just kind of sectioning it off with fencing that's already there along the boardwalk, just so it matches and kind of looks like it was never there. So just updating the board on that. We also let them know about the new landscaping boulders that City of Allegan resident Tessa Thomas, came in and donated to the city. Those were placed on Monday of the meeting that week. So board members, when they were coming into their Wednesday meeting, saw those in place. So we got to update them on that. We briefly recapped the Wreaths Across America event that was held by the Friends of Oakwood Cemetery out there in December, and talked about potential plan for some sort of landscaping sponsorship. This has been a long conversation about how folks might be able to donate and sponsor a tree in, typically someone's memory in our downtown. And then also businesses sponsoring the raised landscaping beds. If you recall, years back, we had those planters in the downtown pre-streetscape, and they all had the little flower picks in them with the little business cards that had a business sponsor. We're looking at kind of revisiting that program, but with the landscaping beds rather than the potted planters. So just having that early discussion. Talked about our holiday decorations, what we like, what we don't like, what we want to see in the next year with the continued streetscape. The improvements to the Griswold Auditorium that this board is aware of. We updated the board on that. And then talked about the upcoming improvement projects this year, the Phase 2 of the streetscape and the Rossman neighborhood project. And answered any questions that folks had there. And that was about it.
Parker, what was, what injury happened? What accident happened?
Yep, there was an individual, there's probably, a good 3-4 inch separation between what I'll call, I guess, sort of like the patio area where the gazebo rests and then that overlook. And we had an individual trip and fall when crossing one section or the other, and that we closed it off shortly after that injury, so.
So is it just that section between Smiles and Schaendorf that would be demolished and redone, or the whole?
Not even that whole section, it's just, there's an overlook, is what I'll call it. So you've got
Okay.
the gazebo that sits on a concrete area that's
Gotcha.
pretty fine now, and then there was just that extension to like look over the river. That's the part that will be being demolished and removed,
Okay.
and then fenced off.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. Moving down to agenda item 11E1 is a request to approve accounts payable and payroll. And Councilperson Hooker, can I ask you to do that tonight?
Yes. So there is a request to approve accounts payable in the amount of $380,963.92. Payroll in the amount of $156,835.28 for a total of $537,799.20. I make that motion.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Is there any questions from council? All right, seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E2 is a request to adopt Resolution 26.02 to authorize issuance of 2026 Sanitary Sewer System First Lien Revenue Bonds.
Thank you, Mayor. Back in October, we brought in our bond council, and city council adopted a resolution to publicize our intent to issue sanitary sewer system bonds and water system bonding as well. The sanitary bonds that we are talking about this evening is a bond in the amount not to exceed $10,040,000 or an interest rate of 7%. And there are a 20-year repayment plan associated with those. The water one, which we'll be talking about next, is for $7,270,000, also not to exceed 7%, and have a 20-year repayment plan as well for those. We decided to go with the 20-year repayment plan instead of the 25, just because the quicker you can pay off the bonds, the greater, savings you have at the end. This is something that's more or less has been approved already by council back in October. That step gave the residents 45 days to sign a petition to stop the issuing the bonds. That did not occur. Therefore, now we are in a position where we can authorize the issuance. There are a handful of steps in this process. One includes the finance director and myself sitting on a phone call with Standards & Poor to get a credit rating for our community or our city. And then we will go through a bid process where, similar to a construction project, we go out for bids, and construction companies submit bids. We go out for bids for this, and finance companies submit bids. I will tell you that we did have the bid opening this afternoon for our downtown project, and the low bid that came in was $500,000 beneath the engineer's estimate, which our eyes is good news. The Grand Street Water Main project came in $75,000 below the engineer's estimate, which is, again, good for us. And I do want to just reiterate that the bonds we are going out have a not-to-exceed line. We don't believe we'll be anywhere near this line when it's all said and done. Any questions for staff?
If, is it possible, is it even legal to, let's say in 15 years, can you extend it to the 25-year mark?
So we can do it, in layman's terms, we can call, in bonding terms, it's called refunding the bond. But you're not getting a refund on your bond. You're just going back out and you're getting, a refinance. But they don't use the word refinance. So we can refinance our bonds if we are running into some concerns. My second year here, we refinanced bonds to save money because interest rates were dropping, and I noticed they were dropping, and I called the finance director in and got on the phone with our bond counsel, and we said, let's see if we can save some money on some of these older bonds we have and, refinance them at a lower interest rate. So we can do that, and we can go out and, rebond these if we have to, if we feel we're running into something.
All right, can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 26.02?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 26.02.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Is there any other questions or comments from council? No? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E3 is a request to adopt Resolution 26.03 to authorize issuance of 2026 water supply system first lien revenue bonds.
Thank you, Mayor. This report is similar to the last where we just covered what we just discussed, but this is for the water system. Again, it's to issue bonds not to exceed $7,270,000. It's also for 20 years as well. I'd be remiss if I don't update council on where we are with this bond since it's water focused, and we received a $2.5 million grant from the MEDC for water improvements. I have heard some people ask, how are we able to afford these construction projects where just a year ago, city administration, the city manager was, painting a pretty dire picture of our financial, status here at the city of Allegan. It's because we received a $2.5 million grant from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation to help us fund our water improvements. It's because as part of the Rossman Park neighborhood, which just went out to bid today and we'll be opening up those bid documents in about a month, we scaled back that construction project significantly. We are replacing what's out there and only replacing what's out there. We are not improving or adding additional amenities. Where people requested curbs on their roads, they're not getting curbs. Where people requested sidewalks in front of their houses, they are not getting sidewalks. If there wasn't a sidewalk before, we're not doing a new sidewalk. Doesn't mean we may not come back in 5 years from now if things change and be able to improve the amenities in that neighborhood. But that neighborhood's getting new sewer lines, new water mains, new road. That's it. Other than that, there's no new amenities being added. And that's how we were able to really scale back and, make this, financially possible for the city. And as we discussed in October when council, adopted the resolutions, to, look into bonding, as well as when you adopted the finance plan, it was very clear at that time that, and right now, these are the end of our projects for the foreseeable future. So the other 7 or 8 years that we had listed, the other 5 years we had listed, the 7 or 8 projects that are needed, we don't have a plan to move forward with those. But we are very thankful as a community that we can attack the remaining, these high-level, high-ranking projects we have to get done.
Well, in this neighborhood the water and sewer lines have to be replaced.
Yeah.
I mean, they are some of the oldest in the city, and
And
some
they're
of those,
broken.
yeah, and some of those roads had basically become dirt.
Yep.
Because of the poor condition. So it's, it is a needed thing, and we understand that it's gonna be, we have to recover from our finances aren't bad, but we cannot in 2 years think we're gonna go do something big. But I'm glad we can do this for that neighborhood up there. I think, what is there, 100 homes?
Yeah, just shy of
Yeah.
100 homes.
Yeah, so that is a lot of our residents live there, so I'm glad we can do this for them.
I appreciate the fact that we're scaling it down. Still reasonable, it's needed, but not, but taking the chance to scale it down a little bit. And I appreciate how you referenced the October 13th meeting, that packet that we got. That was helpful to go back. So, thank you.
That was all Finance Director Tracy Stahl. I was still at my conference, but she did email it to me. I was like, good job.
All right, can I get a motion to authorize adoption of Resolution 26.03?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 26.03.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any other comments or questions from council? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E4 is a request to adopt Resolution 26.04, approving a charitable gaming license for Positively Allegan.
I'll go ahead and take this one, Madam Mayor. There is going to be held at the Griswold Auditorium on March 14th, the Art of Allegan event. This is a fundraising event for the Griswold that's been organized by a number of community members. And these aren't just folks that live in the city, or not even all of them in Allegan. A few of them own businesses in the city, own businesses in the Allegan area, but live in cities next door, but really just have a deep love and appreciation for the city, the downtown, and specifically the Griswold. So we're very thankful to those members who are volunteering their time to make this event a success. As part of the activities, and there are a number of them, it's a day-long fundraising event. There will be art classes held in the lower level of the Griswold. There will be a silent auction of art pieces. A number of businesses downtown are hosting kind of DIY activities at their place of business. There will be a screening of a movie at the Griswold, Loving Vincent, on Vincent van Gogh's art. The art that you see on the screen is the Allegan Starry Night piece. Paulette Carr of Brave Art Studio painted this, and it is available for purchase. There are prints located here at City Hall that can be purchased for $25. All of the proceeds are going straight into the fundraising event. Then to what we're here tonight, and we're also going to have a what's the word I'm looking for, Joel? A 50-50 raffle. I was thinking silent auction. I'm like, nope, I've already said that. A 50-50 raffle, and as part of that, we just need to have approved a charitable gaming license that Positively Allegan is submitting for. They're also the entity that submits for the liquor licenses that are pulled for different concerts at the Griswold, of which they will be pulling a license for this, so folks can enjoy adult beverages inside of the Griswold Auditorium during this. But this one just requires council approval.
All right.
Joel reminded me that he would like me to touch on those folks who have given money and supported this event. It was included in your agenda packet. If I slide up here, Brave Art Studios and the Allegan County Community Foundation, ATEC Computers, Country House Furniture, Tantric Brewing and Stillhouse, and Tibbetts Financial Consulting have all given as part of this. Over $2,600 raised thus far.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 26.04?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 26.04.
Support?
All right, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 11E5 is a request to review the end-of-year 2025 Downtown Allegan event budgets.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to kick this off and then pass it off to Parker. You'll probably get sick of me, but I am going to continue to share with council where we stand financially when we look at all the wonderful events our city does for this larger community. You may recall back in November, I don't remember the exact Saturday, but we had a fun little strategic planning workshop. You guys got to list your dreams for the city, your 10-year vision, your immediate steps, what you think the core services are for local government. And at the end, I snidely made the comment, well, events aren't up there. I guess we can stop doing events. And then very quickly, in unison, you all said, well, that's just what we do. I didn't think we had to write this down, more or less. So we fully appreciate that. The promotion staff, the administration, finance departments that have to manage this, we get it. We understand the benefit to the community. But what I wanted Parker to do is, we just wrapped up New Year's Eve, which is the culmination of our event year. Even though our fiscal year is June 1st or July 1st to June 30th, our event planning really, is a calendar year kind of event planning schedule for Parker and Ryan as they put these projects on. So I'm just going to ask Parker to go through where we are financially with each of our events. I will pipe in if I see needed. And then on the next slide, we're going to take some time to recognize all the businesses that sponsor our events and give us cash to help soften the financial blow that these events are to our general fund.
Can I also say something, Parker, before you do your presentation? Something I did not mention in the DDA minutes is you have been covering, when we talked about the events with DDA, kind of the changes you're going to do with Bridge Fest and cutting back and trying to make it maybe not so cost prohibitive. So I don't know if that's something you're going to cover in your presentation with the rest of council?
Yeah, certainly can.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because I
So-
know it's one of the most, I mean, it's pretty expensive. So,
It is.
yeah.
It
all
is.
right.
Yeah, so there's no decision to be made tonight. It's just like Joel said, a review of kind of where we're at as we just wrapped up the last event of the calendar year. So what you're looking at on the screen was also included in your packet. In that one, there was an error made, and it's been changed, and I'll point that out here on the screen as we kind of walk through it. But you can see the revenue that's brought in from each event. That revenue is largely sponsorships for each event. For our larger festivals in which we have food trucks present, we also ask for 10% of sales from our vendors. That's mostly food trucks, but for example, on New Year's Eve, the Allegan JCs sold like novelty glow stuff, little trinkets and things, and we took 10% of the sales that were made by that vendor. We also, so Festive Fridays is a fun one. So we got $1,033. We got a $1,000 sponsorship. And then when we drive the Holly Jolly Trolley, Joel and I put a stocking out at the front of the trolley. It's like a tip your driver thing. And between the the two of us on 3 Fridays, we made $33. So
I accounted for $2 of those. Obviously, Parker's more jolly than I am.
Hey, I was giving you some slack. You were in there with me. So we ended up making $4 out of Festive Fridays, which is, small victories. And then the expenses, for Bridge Fest, like Mayor Perigo pointed out, that's a very large, expensive event. It's the rides. It's the staff for the rides. It's the delivery fee on the rides, the generator for the rides. It all adds up. But we're paying for bands and the entertainment acts that we have for all of these events. We are paying for safety. We've got reserve officers that are at these larger events. We've got the fire department who are present at these events. We're paying for that. We have DPW staff, and so while their time is not coming out of this event budget, that's another important thing. You see, none of the DPW staff, my time, Ryan's time, that's not included in any of the expenses here. So just think about that and tack that on. All that overtime for Ryan when he's working on a holiday, on New Year's Eve until 2 in the morning, that's not included in those expenses. But what we do for those DPW staff members and our public safety officers, we buy some pizza for them. And so that's another, it's a small expense, but we're paying for that kind of stuff too. And then for our New Year's Eve, we've got attractions like the ice skating experience and the silent disco. All of these parts and pieces just add into this. So Mayor Pergo was alluding to kind of trimming down the expenses of Bridgefest. The Hoot and Howl event, this is where that error was made in your packet. It said our actual expenses were $3,000. That's what I had originally budgeted for when I was kind of putting this together. And then it's a first-time event this past time. And I had some high expectations and I wanted to do some fun stuff, but I was like, you know what? We don't have that kind of money to spend, so we got $1,000 from Milbacher and Sons, and my goal was not to spend any more than what we got in sponsorship. So really that $999, I found that giant inflatable pumpkin that was a huge hit, and I really think helped promote A, the event, but B, just the downtown. People wanted to come and get a little photo op for that, so I think that was money well spent. But I found it on sale, and then I scoured the internet for some coupons, and I got that thing. It was originally like $1,200, and I got it for like $899. And then I think I spent $100 on something. I can't remember exactly what it was. Kept it under that $1,000 within the sponsorship, but it was a really fun event. If you were able to make it to Hoot and Howl, there were a lot of things to do, and a lot of things for all ages, families, and a lot of it was free or low cost. And that was just an effort of reaching out to all these different businesses that we have downtown and asking them, hey, how can you participate? Or if they didn't have an idea, something that Ryan or I came up with, and we pitched the business and said, we would love it if you guys did like cider and donuts. We had the Allegan County Community Foundation. They gave out free cider and donuts in their front lobby. And so we were able to build this event up just by reaching out to the partners that we have in the downtown. So that's really my goal this year for Bridgefest, is to kind of do the same thing. And I talked about the rides and how expensive those are. We're probably going to cut those rides. There won't be a Ferris wheel. There won't be a pirate ship or swings. It's just we need to cut costs. But we can still have fun things to do and still make it a very fun, interactive community event, low cost to attendees, by just reaching out to our business partners and asking them, hey, how can you be a part of this? So at the beginning of last year, our starting cash balance was just over $19,000. You can see on that far right-hand column, the green numbers, what we spent on each event, and then how that cash balance of $19,000 just started to creep down from, lower and lower and lower. We did a cash injection in October from the general fund of $15,000. Council approved it into Positively Allegan to help kind of keep that afloat for the rest of the fiscal year. So then we ended the 2025 year just over $59,000 revenue brought in, and just over $100,000 expended for an operation deficit of just over $8,000 for the 2025 year. And then, like Joel said, we also, okay, yes?
As we were going over the numbers today, it's important for me just to remind council where we've been. Up to like 2 years ago, we would put about $41,000 into Positively Allegan every year. 26 would come from DDA, 15 would come out of the general fund.
That's, we started that practice in 2018?
I think so when I first, when we both showed up. We tried to get away from that practice because we were hoping to generate more sponsorship from the community, especially the businesses. Plus, we wanted to take that DDA money and invest it in the physical improvements in the downtown, like the parking signs, the wayfinding signs we're doing, more landscaping, et cetera, help pay off some of the bonds we have for the improvements we've made downtown. But when you take that 19,000 starting cash balance, that cash injection of 15, and that operating deficit of 8,000, that's just north, I think, of 42,000. So it kind of shows what we were doing previously made sense. And we were able to close the gap or close the circle, with our budgeting. It's something that we're going to discuss more closely in the next few months as we prepare for our 2027 budget, which starts on July 1st. So I just wanted to remind council, since pretty much all of you are new except for Mayor Perigo, about how we used to fund those events. It was a $42,000, starting spot for, Parker and Gain when they would plan, how to make Allegan a fun place to do fun stuff.
Would we expect the insurance expense to go down if we do not have the rides?
That's a good question.
Off the cuff, I want to say yes,
Okay.
but we'll know.
Well, we'll have to look into that. A lot of the insurance is covered by attendance figures and not what's going on at that. But we can look into that and ask, most
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah, thank you for the backstory and all that, Joel. That's important to know. And then, yeah, just looking at these folks that helped make these events just a little bit more, a little easier to swallow this year. Bridgefest had 3 sponsors, each at $1,000 each. This is Cunningham Dahlman. They are a law firm out of Holland. One of their attorneys lives in the Allegan area and reached out. And, this is now, I think, the second, if not third year that they've sponsored Bridgefest. Just wanting to get involved and help support the good stuff that's happening in downtown Allegan.
But just real quick, it's because that person's company does a community support match program. Whereas an employee, you can ask, hey, my community does X, would you mind giving to it? I'm sure there are other people who live in Allegan that work for that kind of corporation. And see, we're going to encourage Allegan residents to talk to their employers to see, I hate the statement, every penny counts or matters, but every penny does matter when it comes to us running events.
Our friends at Honor Credit Union have been great supporters of Downtown Allegan events over the years, and they sponsored Bridgefest at $1,000. And Milbacher and Sons, since the first Streetscape project, they have continued to donate to the events that we've had, being held downtown. This last year, they sponsored 4 events at $1,000 each for a total of $4,000. You see their name pop up a couple of times. July 3 Jubilee, Allegan Township partners with us, and they have for many years, for longer than I've been here. In the past couple of years, I want to say it was 2021, they upped their gift of $5,000 to $7,500. At the time, we had seen an increase in cost in fireworks in 2021 when everything kind of spiked, and they have not gone down, believe it or not. And so Allegan Township has raised their gift and has continued that at $7,500. Rolling on the River, we have 5 very generous sponsors cover that event at $3,500 a piece. That's Allegan Credit Union, Allegan True Value, Gordon Funeral Residence, Tibbetts Financial Consulting, and Weichert Realtors Platinum Group. And those have been the same 5 now. I think this is the second year for that group of 5. Gordon Funeral Residence is the newer addition, but otherwise those 4 have been sponsoring since the event started, which is really great. That started in 2018. The Halloween Hoot and Howl, that was another one of Milbacher's $1,000 sponsorships, and they basically paid for the giant pumpkin, so thank you. And then they also gave $1,000 to Festive Fridays. They were the only sponsor of that event, but that helps cover the entire cost of Santa Claus, plus whatever kind of little things that Ryan and I need to grab to make it a fun and festive event for 3 weeks. And New Year's Eve, we had the following sponsors at $1,000 a piece. Marsh Consultants, they're really great. They tell us that we can basically count on $1,000 and we put it where we need it most. And this year was New Year's Eve. Allegan Event, Michigan Gas Utilities, Milbacher and Sons for their 4th sponsorship, Tantric Brewing and Stillhouse, and Taylor Lake at Modern Woodman. And then Bart's Rummery Agency gave $1,200. and RCI Adventure Products gave $5,000, which covered the cost of the fireworks and the fireworks insurance. We brought fireworks back to this event after a couple-year hiatus, thanks to that sponsorship, so. So big thank you to all of those folks on the screen.
Anything else, Parker?
That's all that I've got.
Any comments or anything from council? No. All right. We will move down to agenda item 11E6 is a request to receive an update regarding various board vacancies.
All right, just very quickly, we just want to remind council and those who may be watching us on YouTube that we have 3 boards, each with 1 vacancy: the Airport Advisory Board, Planning Commission, and Zoning Board of Appeals. If you would like to apply to serve on either of our boards as a volunteer and have an impact in how your community is shaped, reach out to City Hall and we will get you a board application.
All right. Thank you. Okay, we'll move down to agenda item number 13, which is the second public comment section of the agenda. There is any additional public comment tonight, please approach the podium and state your name and address. And I am not seeing any. So I'm going to go ahead and move down to agenda item number 14, which is communications from city manager.
Okay, you'll get a more detailed email from me tomorrow, but I just want to remind, or not remind, but let all the council members know that on February 16th, 2026, that is President's Day, City Hall is closed, but the mayor has scheduled a special meeting at 5 p.m. We have some information we need to share with you at that time. One dealing with the potential apartment development on Low Street, and then one dealing with our bonding that's happening, so, that you just approved this evening, so.
February 16th at 5
February
p.m.
16th, that's a Monday at 5 p.m. Does that work for everybody? Yep. All right.
And for those of us that are on planning is moved to Tuesday that week, yeah.
Is 5 too close to the end of the business day for some of you that have day jobs?
Does 5:30 work better, or 5:15?
5 is fine.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, on a Monday.
yeah, it's on a Monday, 5 p.m. I just want to, I mean, I know for me, walking across the hallway, it's 20 feet, so 5 is easy for me to get here. I just want to be, you know,
And
Considerate.
I also have a holiday that day. so
Okay.
I'll be here.
Hey, lucky you, you get to come here for your holiday. So, okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, thanks, Joel. Agenda item number 15 is roundtable discussion from council and mayor. And I'll start down here, council member Hooker. Any comments?
Yes. I want to thank you, Parker, for all of the work with the events, because they are very well received and liked, and so I do think it's important. I also wanted to mention, Council Member Walker and I, while we get lots of requests for, like, chat with council, we're not seeing a lot of people, so we are going to do, like, every other month, it'll either be morning or evening, and we scheduled it out till June, I think, but and there will be a flyer going around soon. But our next one will be February 20th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Community Action Agency building, which will become the new warming center, which is at 323 Water Street. That is it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilperson Clark, anything tonight?
No, I just hope that the community, if you have any complaints about anybody in the city, you email them directly. And if you want to make a change, please step forward and volunteer in a board position, or just come to a meeting and speak your mind in public comment.
All right. Councilperson Westover.
I have nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Councilperson Walker.
I do have a few things. Yeah, first, also, it's nice to see all the events downtown and relative success, and maybe not total financial success, but And surprised, a lot of good sponsors. It's fantastic. Yes, like Councilperson Hooker mentioned, the warming center will be moving this Sunday, the 1st, to Community Action. That'll be our permanent spot from 5 to 9. So, again, always looking for volunteers, spread the word. We are making a difference. We have a full meal and movies or conversation, counseling, not counseling, okay, strike that. But pamphlets for counseling and resources for counseling. So it's been a good experience so far. And also, lastly, I've got this paper that I would hope we could talk about, maybe get that on the agenda for the next meeting. But what we're hoping, after working with the Gun Lake Band of the Potawatomi tribe, they did research to find out the land that Allegan City sits on. This is the history of that land and our land acknowledgement. So for a possible plaque in the city, as well as at the bottom is a shorter version that maybe we can shorten it a little bit more, but possibly something like other cities have done, maybe at the beginning of a council meeting or other meetings. But raise awareness in the city of Allegan. So, it'd be great to have a discussion at a meeting, next meeting or one after.
Okay.
That's it.
Will, is the warming center open every day? Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, it's every day that is 32 degrees and colder.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, for me, I just wanted to mention the Allegan Arts. I just wanted to put in a plug for that sponsor, that Smurfit West Rock, which is a business in Allegan. They are a global printer, and they printed all of the Allegan Starry Nights and donated all of that to the event. And so I'm very happy that they were able to kind of start to support some of these events, helping preserve something like the Griswold. And then I had asked at the last meeting about getting a volunteer button, which Parker let me know there has always been a place on our city website to volunteer, and it may have been buried and maybe not as noticeable, but it has been moved. I don't know if it's on the front page or when you open it now, Parker.
Yeah, it's in like 3 different places on the city
Okay.
website now.
All right, so yeah, so kind of going back to the last council meeting, what you had just mentioned, Charles, about volunteering, it should be easily accessible to get involved and help out in the city. And with that, at 6:53, I will adjourn the meeting.